All righty. All right. It must be a reason why we're having so much difficulties out there. I'm going to check first to make sure we're posting. This must be some powerful stuff that's getting ready to hit a lot of you guys. So let me check. All right. All right. Yep. Okay, so we're live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and other places. Plus, there will be a recording of this. Hey, guys, you're actually in for a huge treat if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a startup, if you have a side gig, if you don't like your boss and you want to make some extra income. This guy right here actually will be able to help you with fitness and finances. And like I was telling someone the other day, I said at my place of employment, I said, I come here for funds and not fun. So this is someone we definitely want to appreciate having on the show. And I'm going to actually bring him up on right now. So I appreciate you. Appreciate you, Lanell, for actually joining me. Um, I know we had some trials and tribulations trying to get together, but now it's coming together.
It has finally come together. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here. Cannot wait to share. And thank you for having me.
No problem. And I actually wore a special shirt just for you. It
Coffee
says
is for
"Coffee is for closers," because this guy right here is a closer. If you ever seen the movie where it says ABC always be closing, this guy's a closer to the core.
appreciate
And
it. Appreciate it.
just the,
It's so funny, but I actually don't drink coffee anymore.
oh
And I'm
really?
one of the weird people that just doesn't do coffee anymore.
Well,
And I think that's just because I have found other more powerful stuff. Still
hey,
legal, but it's more
hey.
powerful.
Well, we definitely need to talk about that because I
Yeah,
some folks I know if they don't have that coffee, don't even talk to them. So,
yeah,
but
exactly. Exactly. I've seen the memes. I've seen the memes.
but I'm excited and I want to introduce you and kind of give you a little background for folks that may not have heard of you, which they should. But you are a certified strength and conditioning specialist from NSCA and has worked with everyone from Olympians to professional athletes. And you train some collegiate sports teams, volleyball, field hockey, if I'm not mistaken. You've been mentored by some of the world top coaches when I was looking at your bio, and you've gained knowledge in metabolism, body composition, nutrition to help others change their body, and you actually have partnered with a guy that I've known running through the digital marketing space. And you actually have formed a company, and I've got to do a little tease. And I write notes down because my wife says I ramble sometimes. I have to keep myself on track. And on this, it said that in 10 days, now we're going to get into the fitness because so we everyone because wealth without health is nothing. But my favorite saying is money's not everything, but it's right up there with air as far as necessity. And and
Definitely need it. Definitely need it.
it's something that you did, you and your partner, in 10 days. You made more in 10 days than you made in 12 months. So that's a teaser for you folks to stay around. He's going to give us some health, wealth tips and things of that nature. And like I mentioned, you actually are an entrepreneur. You actually are a gym owner. Now, do you still live in Texas or are you out of Texas? Where do you live at?
I still live in Texas. I'm in Bastrop, Texas, which is just outside of Austin. Really cool place, except it is blazing hot here. I
Mhm.
think today is probably going to be about 105 degrees. I'm not going outside.
Yeah, I call that 100 in hell. That's what I call that, 100 in hell. It,
It's
it is a
hell.
different heat. It's not.
It,
It's a heat that kind of like grabs you by the back and like drags you around like you when you're a kid and just whoops you.
it's wild how hot it is here. Like, and I love the heat, but
Yeah,
it's a lot.
yeah,
It's way past Arizona and Las Vegas heat.
yeah, yeah. Well, awesome, awesome. Well, we appreciate you taking time. So I'm gonna jump right into this because I've got twofold. A couple of we're probably gonna be back bouncing back and forth with the different modes because, of course, like I said, you are an entrepreneur, but you were now. Do you still you don't still physically own a physical gym anymore? Do you or do you is you still do?
I do not.
Okay.
I have gone away from brick and mortar to just going virtual, and quite honestly, it's just because it's more impactful to be virtual.
Hmm.
Anybody who out there who has a brick and mortar and doesn't really understand if they can go virtual can definitely go virtual because most of the people are buying your knowledge and your experience and systems, and then
Mhm.
not really buying the physical space. So it was really challenging as a personal trainer, because the big myth out there is that I need a personal trainer. I need someone to kick my ass in
Yeah.
order for me to get in shape. And you really don't. You just need someone to hold you accountable, give you a system in play in order to be able to get results. And I started implementing systems in my own company. And then all of a sudden, people started getting the same results as they were when they were with me.
Now, I'm going to actually, like I said, I'm going to be jumping back and forth, but from the business side to the wealth fitness side, because I initially, the reason why I started, why I contacted you was I was in the gym. And I think, and you surprised me. I was in the gym. I was watching, listening to a training that you were doing, and then all of a sudden I called because I was like, this guy said I can spend because I to back up a little bit, I did personal training myself. Nothing of the sort the level that you're at. By no means necessary. This is like um minor like first league basketball and you're like Michael Jordan. So nothing of the same aspect. But some of the things that you were mentioning hit me because a lot of people spend a lot of time in the gym and you look at them a year ago and they look the same way. And it's the that they're spending the time and the energy there, but they won't really getting the results. So when I heard you say, "Hey, look, you don't even have to spend like an hour at the gym," could you break down kind of like a big picture idea of what you mean by some of the things that can be done fitness wise that is unheard of that most trainers don't even mention and things of that nature?
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic question. Most people spend way too much time in the gym to get absolutely no results, and it really comes down to the fact that they're not utilizing their time very well. I did a research the other day. I went on our trusty Google, and I found out that people spend an average of 7.6 hours a week in the gym.
Oof.
That's a ton of time.
Yeah.
Like that's almost a night of sleep spent in one place in the gym to get absolutely no results. And so what I found out is that a lot of people have been working out for a long time, but they tend to do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And we know that as being insanity.
Hmm.
So what I started to understand is that more people need a way to start tracking certain metrics in order to understand whether they're doing things properly. They need to be able to get stronger. So they need to have a focus on strength versus just burning calories, because most people are chasing the calorie train where they're saying, okay, in order to lose this amount of weight, I have to restrict all this food, and then I have to work out this amount, and it equals an imbalance that is way too hard for the body to understand. So you end up getting a body that's resistant to change because it's just too much to handle. So instead, what I do is I tell people, hey, focus on building muscle, because once you start to build muscle, you'll start revving the engine, and you'll start getting to the point where you'll be able to handle a decent amount of food or more food, but you'll still end up changing your body more. And it's not about doing all these different exercises. It's about doing the exercises that have the biggest bang for your buck.
Hmm.
Most people know this as the powerlifting moves: squat, bench, deadlift. Then you start adding in pull ups and chin ups, dips, incline press. These are the best bang for your buck exercises, but they're also the exercises that require the most amount of strength. So I don't tell people to go do those. I kind of break those movements down to have really regressive exercises, or exercises that everybody can do, that builds up to those big bang for your buck exercises.
Yeah.
So what you have now is a really customized program that's built around your needs, that allows you to get stronger, focus on movement, focus on getting strong, focus on getting better movement, and then you add in really good food on top of that, and all of a sudden your body just changes. And then you can take those 7.6 hours a week and boil it down to even 30 minutes a week. Once you get really consistent and once you get really dialed in, our friend Adam only gets spends about 30 minutes a week in the gym, and he's still gaining size. He's still changing his body. He still looks really good. He's starting to get into large shirts right now, which
Hmm.
he used to only get into medium, and they were still kind of big on him.
Yeah.
And now he's thick. He's filling it out. He loves it.
Now that's very important, and I'm glad I'm gonna chime in on that little piece right there. And something that you didn't mention, but I heard on the interview you were mentioning how our how basically in fitness we've been taught this type of I mean, this certain type of meal plan where you really hit upon what you just mentioned, individualized plans for your particular body. Because someone that, and the only thing I can say quick, the easiest way to put it, if I'm lactose, which I'm not, but lactose intolerant, and there's a protein shake that's made out of milk that is fantastic, but I'm lactate then even though that may be the best for the general population, for my particular body, that won't work well. And something that you do is you tailor it for the individual and not the this is the name this is the fad of I don't want to say fad but fad of the year. So can
Hmm.
you go into a little bit more on that, what
Yeah.
exactly that is that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Most people really have a good understanding of nutrition. I was quite shocked. I actually polled a bunch of people and found out that most people believe that they know about nutrition. So then the question is, why aren't they getting good results, or why isn't everyone pretty lean? And it comes down to the fact that our guts are very individual. Um, One person's gut is not the same as another person. Our guts are influenced by our environment, our epigenetics, our the foods that we ate as a child, how we were birthed. So many different factors that go into how our bodies were really, how our guts were really played out, and we have to actually start eating towards that microbiome. So there's a difference between a sensitivity and an allergy. An allergy is more of a severe reaction. Those are, having hives, getting really fatigued, uh, having an allergic reaction. That's what an allergy is. Versus a sensitivity is, I don't feel very good when I eat this. And so we have to eliminate the foods that cause us to be that are creating sensitivities in our body, and really increasing the amount of inflammation that we have on a regular basis, so that way we can actually start to heal.
Hmm.
At the root of it, inflammation is the root of all diseases. The more inflamed our body is, the more likely it is that we're going to develop a disease, because that's where diseases develop, is when an inflamed body. So when we start to eliminate the foods that don't really work for us, that are causing us sensitivities and inflammation, we start to heal, we start to get better. And finding that out is as simple as just doing a gut lab test that really outlines what foods that you need to be eating, what foods you need to avoid, what are the foods that make you feel the best, and all of a sudden it's magic.
You know what's funny about that, and I don't want to say the word funny, but what's unique about what you're mentioning is um, that, especially as an entrepreneur or someone that's say in management position or something of that nature, that's very important because if you don't have the energy to do what you need to do, then that hurts your business, that
Mm,
hurts your relationships, and we spend so much time in this hustle world. You know, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, but we don't realize that that may be hurting us. Since and when you said something about the food, that really made me think about it because I've eaten certain foods, and right after I eat it, every time I'm like, why did I just eat that, knowing that I'm going to feel like this? But I go back to it because you don't think you think, hey, I can eat it,
yeah,
but you don't think of the effect that is slowing me down, is dragging me down, is making me sleepy and things of that nature, and that's hurting my performance on my goals. So this is a big picture of, hey, look, and then you beat yourself up because you don't reach your goals, and it
yeah,
could have been that French fry that large fry that you ate that has made you not want to do the report that would have took you to getting that speaking engagement or something of that nature. So it works hand in hand. This health and wealth works hand in hand.
yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt. A lot of people have heard of this concept, but our guts and our brains are actually connected by a single line, by a single nerve called the vagus nerve.
Hmm.
And when you hear the term gut reaction, it's actually your gut is sending a signal to your brain that, hey, this isn't working, or this isn't right.
Hmm.
And so if you have a gut that's damaged, that's not working correctly, it can actually send the wrong signal to your brain. So imagine having a gut that's under functioning, that's not doing the job it's supposed to, and it's sending the wrong signal to your brain. This is when you start making poor decisions. This is when you start sleeping on the job. This is when you are more emotional in your business. And we all know that we need to be very by the numbers when it comes to our business. We don't need to be making emotional decisions, because that's when we start losing money.
Yes.
So having our guts functioning properly is probably one of the best things that you can do to earn more money. Having a gut that works means your brain is working, means your decision making is working faster and clearer, means that you're able to handle management and managing jobs. It means that you're actually utilizing your time properly and not falling asleep after a meal. I think back in the day, I think we're about the same age, but we used to use the term itis.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you eat some food and it's, oh man, I got the itis.
Yes.
I got to take a nap.
Yep.
That's not a good thing in the world of business and entrepreneurship. We need to be productive, like almost 24/7, except when we're sleeping. But even then, food will actually affect your sleep. So anybody out there who's like, man, I wish I could feel better. It starts with food. It starts with rebuilding your gut. And then after that, you'll it's a cascading effect of what can happen.
Now, I'm like I said, I'm gonna jump back and forth from wealth and entrepreneurship. So, but it ties together. So you're dropping all of this knowledge. Now, when you had your gym, I'm pretty sure you couldn't sit down with each individual person that came into your gym. Because number one, if you tried, if I was at your gym, I'm like, hold up, wait a minute, I don't need a seminar. I'm trying to get my workout on. So you couldn't do that with each individual one. But most people will get stuck on what's usual. What I usually say is comfortable being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Know there's got to be a change. You know there's something different, but you don't want to go outside the bounds, or you don't know how to go outside the bounds. So what took you from being successful? Because you're just not the guy that woke up one day and say, I'm gonna be a beach body coach, which nothing wrong with that. I was a beach body coach. But you didn't just wake up and say, I'm gonna sign up and become a beach body coach. You spent time, energy, and money to become one of the top in your industry. So, what made you decide that, hey, look, maybe I'm brick and mortar, but maybe I need to look at doing something different?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Oh man, this is deep. I love this stuff. Um, my own medical history is pretty complicated. So it really started when I was in the industry and I looked around and I was like, we're all doing the same thing. Like, there's really no way for me to separate myself from the crowd. I don't even know what my own USP is. I don't know what my own unique selling proposition is. And all of a sudden, this is when I was introduced to the guy named Charles Poliquin, who became my mentor. I remember I was watching a YouTube video of him increasing the flexibility of the leg without touching the leg.
Mm.
So he did some voodoo that it really was voodoo at the time, because I looked at it, I was like, that doesn't even make sense. and, and at that point, I was like, okay, this is the guy that knows way too much that I need to like go and like study under.
Yeah.
And we all have that person who
Yeah.
we idolize, who we look up to, and we're like, oh, this is the guy that's going to get me to the next level.
Yeah.
And I found it in Charles Poliquin. So I
Yeah.
spent gob tons of money following him around the world,
Mhm.
figuring out what he knew and how I can get all of that knowledge out of his head. And what happened was I was able to start healing my own body in the beginning, because I grew up with asthma,
Mm.
allergies, and eczema.
Mm.
So in New York City, when it was almost just as dirty as it is now,
Mhm.
hate to say it, allergies and eczema that riddled my childhood,
Yeah.
and it stayed with me into my adulthood. Now I went to Charles Poliquin and he started diving into metabolism and health
Mhm.
and gut healing. And I started to try this stuff on my own. And then all of a sudden, my own health just like accelerated.
Yeah.
I went from, having an inhaler on me every single day to forgetting it on regular basis,
Wow.
from having skin allergies that I would wear long shirts in the summer,
Mhm.
to now I was actually taking off my shirt. I really like just made a full transformation in my own health. And at that point, I said, this is way different than what anybody else is doing.
Yeah.
Most coaches are just preaching, eat these foods, work out this way, and you'll be healed. And then I was starting to come up with a more individualized approach and saying, hey, you probably have these issues here. If you fix these simple things, it'll just spread to the rest of it. And I would also be the coach to say, hey, you're not working out today just because you still haven't fixed these issues.
Mm.
Don't waste your money. Go fix these issues first and then come back. Just
Yeah.
because it was counterproductive for them to work out with these illnesses still in play.
That's when you were saying it's just bringing up stuff for me. Similar situation. I didn't have the ailment, but skin,
Mm-hmm.
and it was my sister had the same thing, and it was weird that when she went to a doctor, they basically was telling her the same thing. Genetics, of course, food, and things of that nature. But it's those small things that, and I have to put it in business context again. So if you have things like the allergies, skin rashes, and things of that nature, you're very self conscious when you're
Bingo.
talking around people. So it makes you not want to go and even share the knowledge that you have because you're thinking, are they looking at my skin or my rash or something of that nature? So it all leads up to, once again, they combine together: health, wealth, and of course, whatever you believe in. But health and wealth, they're so tied together, and we try to stay on one range. It's kind of like being uh, someone that's a provider, a father or something of that nature, the main provider at a home, but you're never home.
Yeah, exactly.
so, so,
Exactly.
so you're there, and even when you're on vacation, you're not on vacation. You're there, but you worried about, is someone trying to get my job, or is how's my business going? So it's kind of like you're doing these things, but it's uneven, it's unbalanced, and we've never been taught that. At least I haven't been taught that there's a way that you can kind of balance it so that you understand the health side is part of the wealth side as well. Now, you guys, and I teased it a little bit, and I wrote it down again so I wouldn't mess it up. So, but I teased it a little bit. So, it was stating that in 10 days, you made more money than you had done in 12 months prior to what you were doing. Now, was that you just increased the amount of people that were in your gym, or did you completely just change your model and do it completely different?
Totally changed the model. Totally changed the model. Like before, I was at a gym, and I was just training people one on one, few group sessions here and there. So my time was still bound to people. I had to sell my time in order to make money. And once we changed, we went straight virtual. I offered just group coaching. I offered it to people around the world. I offered it through someone else's list, someone else's email list. So this is where having a joint venture was a really good thing for me, is because now instead of trying to find the people and taking a long time to kind of build my audience, I just went to someone else's audience who was really receptive to this partnership and said, "Hey, I have my friend Lanell. He's doing an amazing job. I did this myself, and you should hear about it." And we pretty much did an amazing presentation, amazing webinar together, and people were just like, "This is it." Click, buy,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, looked after 10 days, and I'm like, "That's unbelievable."
And I'm actually going to include, I'll get the link and everything of that nature and include that for folks so they can see that presentation that you did, because I watched it too.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
awesome, and it made sense. And my wife, and I got to admit this. So my wife, she's one of those people for years since we've been married. She was eating, the all natural and things of that nature, and staying a little healthy, stay away from as much fast food. And I would listen, but I would listen and I would have selective hearing where I would hear it and I'm like, okay, and I'm gonna run to the store. You want some fries too? So when I was just telling her about some of the things that I heard on the webinar that you mentioned about I'm not sure what the correct word was, and you mentioned it before, where you can actually take the genetics or find out basically your back. What is that called again?
Your it's a gut lab test.
Gut,
Your epigenetics test.
that's the word. Okay.
Yeah,
And
epigenetics test.
and she had mentioned, yeah, she said I'm familiar with that, but I'm not quite familiar. But she knew more about it than I did, and it just amazed me how, once again, me as a person who's always a go getter, always been, always wanted to succeed, and not really being taught that health, number one, is the main thing that will take you to success. I was listening to one of my online mentors, who has a podcast, Pat Flynn, and
Yeah, I've
one of
heard of
his latest podcasts, he was talking about energy,
it.
energy for entrepreneurs, and he basically stated, he said last week, he said I did not feel like doing nothing. He said I just did not feel like doing anything, and then he went into the. Now that I'm listening to you, this is what he said. He said, I think it had something to do with I had a beer and I don't drink beer that much. And then he said, I had gone, played golf or something or stayed up one late night and was just tired. Now, this is a guy who's a
Yep.
multi-millionaire. And he's stating that your energy will change who you are as, and he mentioned entrepreneur, but as an entrepreneur,
Yes.
that's how powerful this is, of knowing how to take care of your body and knowing how to eat the right foods, knowing how to exercise properly. Because as you mentioned, some folks spend, you say 7.5 hours in the gym a week,
Pretty much a week.
and you've actually trained folks and gotten same or better results in 30 minutes a week. And it's crazy. And my wife can contest to this, because I'm not fit like I should be. But um, when I was really deep into working out, and I stopped working out for years, and then I would go to the gym for maybe 3 or 4 days, and people would come up to me like, "Oh, you've been working out a lot, haven't you?" And I'm like, "No, I just went for like a day and a half." And it was just simply because, like you mentioned, if you really understand your body, you can change it without doing the weeks, the months, the years. Now you still want to exercise, but you have a program, proven program, where someone can work out for less than the drive to the gym. Because as,
Mm-hmm.
or if, and I think you mentioned in the training, sometimes you don't even have to go to a gym, you can work out from home. So
Yep.
can you go over that a little bit, this myth that, once again, you have to spend Arnold Schwarzenegger hours in the gym, morning,
Yeah.
afternoon, and evening?
Yeah. It comes from our social media age. It comes from seeing all these different influencers out there who are talking about you need to spend this amount of time in the gym. What we don't see from these influencers is the amount of time they spend on their recovery, the amount of time they spend on their food, the amount of time that they spend on just the other things outside the gym, plus the amount of food that they have to eat in order to sustain that amount of energy. So most of these guys, yes, they're influencers, but they're not really entrepreneurs. They're just influencers. As an entrepreneur, we're managing people and we're managing our business and we're managing finances and we're doing so many different things that have nothing to do with health and fitness. We don't have that lifestyle of an influencer. So we have to adjust it to make sure the priorities stay the priority. And the priority is not spending time in the gym. What most people think is that, oh man, I gotta spend 7.5 hours in a week in the gym in order to get a body that I like. And that's not really the purpose. The purpose is to have more energy, is to have your health in check, is to make better decisions, to be with your family more, to do the things that you love to do. It's not really to have to be a fitness influencer. So we have that myth around like, oh, I need to spend a lot of time in the gym, when in fact you just need to get a better body.
Yeah.
And it comes down to core principles, which are building more muscle, which means that you're probably going to have to overload your muscles as best as possible. I call this principle progressive overload, where every single time that you spend in the gym doing the same workout, you should see an increase of about 2 to 5% in terms of the amount of reps that you get or in the time amount of weight that you lift.
Mhm.
If you don't see any increase, you probably are not recovered enough. You probably need to go home and eat more food or sleep more or drink more water. You don't need to go and do another workout. You don't need to force yourself, because that's not the goal here. The goal is to just keep increasing. Once you do that, then you have to make sure you're actually working out the proper muscles. Most people come into the gym, and I'm starting to get more time into a public gym, and I see more people just doing a bunch of arms, doing a bunch of abs, and not really doing the muscles that are going to make you look better, which are your legs, your chest, your shoulders, your back. Um, they're they're your lower back, your butt. These are the big muscles that will make your figure look better. So
Mhm.
for women out there, don't leave out the upper body. That's actually really important. For the men out there, don't leave out your legs. They hurt, but man, do they burn a lot of calories. So if you do the right muscles and you actually progressing every single week, you should see a difference in your body within about 4 weeks.
Wow, that's strong. In when you were saying that about the hours that is spent in gym, I wonder if they broke down the hours that in that 7.5 hours, how many they actually were working out. Because
Yeah.
what kills me is I've seen people in the gym and they're standing around talking to each other or yeah on the phone. I saw one. I thought he was an Instagram star because he spent more time, and it was two of them. It was one on one side was a male and another female on the other side, and they were spending more time taking pictures of themselves working out than the actual workout. I was like, what in the world is this? So I wonder how many hours, I know 7.5 hours spent in the gym, but how many hours, how many minutes they actually are. And I think what it is, and now more and more that you talk, when you go into a gym, unless you have a personal trainer, there's no one walking around with you telling you, do
Do
this
this.
for a certain amount of time, rest. Do this exercise today or do this. So you just, it's like kindergartens getting thrown into, or better yet, uh, those first time football players when they're the minor league, the little kids, and
Yep.
they just give them some pads, a
Yep.
football, and let them running around. That's
Yep.
what it is. Is humans, adults in gyms are young kids playing football. Here's the pads, go run around.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Once you get into the gym, it's one of the most common questions I get. It's like, what should I do first? And so what I provide is a structure for you to go do this workout. Hey, do this workout. Here's your exercises, and just get it done.
Mhm.
What it does mean is that you do have to be focused. So I don't know if you're familiar with the Pomodoro technique when it comes to comes to productivity. Basically, our bodies, our brains are not designed to work 24/7. They need breaks.
Okay.
So there was a guy that developed a method called the Pomodoro technique, where you work for 25 minutes
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
you take a break for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and then you do that for a set of four, and then you take a 15-minute break. So I use this in my own business to make sure I'm like.
It seemed like we lost it. We should be coming back over in a second. Let's get ready to drop some knowledge. I know we're getting ready to drop some knowledge. So let's hold tight for just a little bit. Maybe a signal was lost or dropped. Here it comes. Here it comes. I'm bringing you back in now. That was
Oh,
just the devil trying to stop you getting ready to help somebody out. That's what it
oh
was.
man, I don't know what happened. I was like, what the heck? Anyway,
So we're back.
um,
So you were saying the
the
25.
Pomodoro
Yeah,
technique.
yeah,
Yeah. So so if you get into the gym with Occam's Fitness,
yeah. Mhm.
for the time of one Pomodoro technique, you can get through a full workout, feel pumped, feel great about yourself, and then get out of there.
Mhm.
Which means that during that time, I do ask people, it's like, hey, leave your phone away. Give me your 15 to 20 minutes. Just focus on this, get everything out done, because after this, you're done, and then you can go and do the rest of your life. So most people can give that, but once it becomes like an hour, usually you'll need a workout buddy, a personal trainer to kind of keep you entertained, because our brains and our our mental capacity is just shorter now. So
Yeah.
we don't have the same amount of attention span that we used to.
Now that you said, because once again, I'm a visual person, and when you said that, that for me, that is how I accomplish a lot of things by knowing that there's an end. I'm that person that even if I'm driving somewhere that I know how to get there, I still put on my phone my
Yeah.
map because it's a mental thing. My wife couldn't understand it, but it's a mental thing. I can see a starting point and I can see how far I am from the end point, and it just physically makes me it drop. This may sound crazy, but it drops my level down because I know a starting and an end. Whereas my wife would just say, let's get in the car and drive somewhere and see how we can find. That drives me crazy. But with that way where you just explained it, if I know, and that's how I try to work out, I go and I tell myself I'm only going to be in here for 45 minutes, but I'm missing the big ingredient, which is, yeah, you may be in there for 30, 45 minutes, but what are you going to do to accomplish during that 30 to 45 minutes to actually take it to the next level, not just say that you've been to the gym. So
Mhm.
what you just said, I can see how that saves a lot of time, brain energy,
Yeah,
trying trying to walk around and figure out, because I know you being a former brick and mortar gym owner, you probably seen folks walking around looking at instructions or looking at weights, and then I'm not going to do that. I don't know how to use that, so I'm not even going to pretend like I am.
exactly.
What you just said gives you a, I don't want to say a degree in fitness, but it's basically a degree, a course in fitness to take your workouts to the next That's amazing.
Yeah,
I think out loud, because when I see stuff, I see it in my head in visual.
yeah.
So that was brilliant the way you put that together.
Appreciate that. Yeah, and that's what I learned. That's what I learned with Charles Poliquin. That's what I learned with a lot of his own disciples. I really do call them disciples because we all speak like him.
Mhm.
But we learned how to put together the right program to get the best results. It wasn't haphazard. It was thoughtful. We learned, where exercises go, what they should be feeling at certain points, how much rest they should be having, how much how hard they should be working in that set. So all of these different uh, factors came into play when it came to working out. And now I've just found a system that works inside of Occam's where people know exactly what to do. It takes no more than about 20 minutes to get it done. If it takes more, I'm probably going to hit you up and say, hey, you just rested too much. I know you're breathing heavy, but the idea is to breathe heavy and work your muscles. It's going to suck, but only for 15 minutes, and it'll be great. And you'll feel amazing. After the workout, people are like, man, that was hard, but I got it done. Like, and it's way better than saying, I'm exhausted.
Yeah,
I've got to go crawl back to my car, or I've got to go crawl into the shower.
yeah,
That's a way better feeling. You should feel really energized after your workout, not exhausted.
exactly. Now, kind of tagging this with the business side. So, um, do you now have folks that come to you and say, "Hey, I've seen your success from going brick and mortar to online. Is there something you can help me with?" So, do you now do trainings, or do you have programs that someone could get involved with? If they're, no matter what, because a gym is one of the brickiest, if that's a word, of businesses. So when someone says my business cannot go online, we're talking about working out. If you can take someone that was working out in the physical gym and go online, then any business can go online. And like I hear, like you mentioned, your mentor Charles. One of my mentors is Ryan Dice,
Nice.
of digitalmarketer.com. And he said something a couple of years ago that I even kind of borrowed, and people may think I did it, but I borrowed it from him. He said, "It's not called digital marketing; it's called marketing."
Hmm.
Because that's where everything is. So, do you have training programs, or do you have some books, or even things that you may have read, or something that, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner right now, and you know you have to make some changes because the world has completely changed, what do you suggest, or do you have some things that you've used before?
To for business, how to take
Yeah,
your stuff online.
yeah.
I've actually used a lot of digital marketer stuff. They
Okay.
do really really well. What I've actually used is actually our friend Adam Lyons'
Okay.
program. He has a program called the Smart Blueprint. I want to plug him because
Definitely.
he's so good at what he does,
Yeah.
and he's so in the shadows a bit.
Mhm.
He definitely is a big personality, but he has been studying this, and he is a student of marketing
Mhm.
and business and making money. And he developed a program called a Smart Blueprint, which anybody can use. It goes over A to Z, how to start a business, how to find your audience, how to market to them, how to get the right message to them, how to sell to them. And I used that in the beginning before I paired up with Adam. I was starting to put in different systems into play, and then all of a sudden, like I was like, okay, this is pretty good. And then it was when I partnered with him that things just accelerated. But anybody out there that's thinking, oh, I have a brick and mortar business, I can't do this virtually, is not really thinking like an entrepreneur. And
Yeah.
that's a really tough thing for me to say to someone, to say to everyone out there.
Yeah.
But it's true. As an entrepreneur, we have to think outside the box and we have to think what's possible. And for anybody out there who said, oh, you shouldn't be training people online, people need an in person trainer. And then I also have to say, like, is that necessary? Do I need to be physically in their space in order for them to get a really good result? And the answer is no. This could be from anyone from dating,
Mhm.
I've invested in virtual systems for,
Mhm.
to how to run your business. I'm trying to think of anything. Guitar lessons are now online. Singing
Mhm.
lessons are now online. These were all spaces, all service spaces that usually people wanted to go to, and now they're all done virtually, especially with Zoom,
Yeah.
Zoom and any other Go Live, Be Live
Mhm.
systems. Like all of these systems make it easier for you to interact with your audience and your clients so much easier that you really have no choice but to go virtual because it really is the way to go.
Yeah. And it's funny too because I've been in the automotive, and we discussed this because I think you did a stint in the automotive industry as well. But I've been in the automotive industry for 20 plus years.
Wow.
And at least as far as 7 years ago, when I was really pitching digital marketing in the automotive industry, digital marketing, and people would laugh in the industry, the gurus. No one's going to buy a car without seeing it. No one's going to buy outside of the area. And now because of COVID, I'll say 70, 80%, because I'm still in the industry, 70 to 80% of the new cars are actually pre-sold before they even get to the lot. So people were actually signing up for 60, 80, $100,000 vehicles before they even get to the lot because of the way that there's shortage on inventory. But just a few years ago, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, someone would in the industry would say no one's going to do that. And it's because the mindset, more people, I believe, are so used to buying online. And saw a little meme this morning and said as a kid, you would run and get excited when you saw this, and it was a picture of a ice cream truck,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
then it said as an adult we do the same thing for this, and it was a picture of an Amazon truck.
Yep. 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 That is so great. That's amazing.
So and you can combine, and Jeff Bezos and the Amazon crew have done it where they've built the best of both worlds. Because even with you, when you've built up that I can see you having your own. So we were talking about conferences like traffic and conversion and things of that nature, asking you who you were going to, or you're going to see any. I can see if you got 100, 200, not a huge amount, 100 or 200 people of your clients that would love to get together for like a 3 day meetup, to meet or get certified. You come up with a certification program and things of that nature. So now it's the online and the live meeting together, and it's a community. Because most of my friends, because I'm a certified digital marketer partner, most of my friends are digital marketing certified partners as well. And we love getting together because we can talk and we understand our language.
Yep.
So I can see how from taking it offline to online to back offline can be so easy for any business if they really understood the steps. So I want you to plug again because I know Adam, I don't
Yeah.
know him personally. I've just seen him in the digital marketing sphere. But what was that training program? And I'll include the link to your program
Yep.
and to his also. But what was the name of his program?
The name of his program is the SMART Blueprint. SMART stands for Sales, Marketing, Audience, Revenue, and Testimonials.
Okay.
So it's a system that he put together that you need all of these different uh, pieces in order to create a really sustainable business. It is not the get rich quick, and in fact, it is more of a build the business that'll last type of a model, which is exactly what people need. And when you start implementing the everything, all of a sudden you're like, wow, this is great. He has some amazing stories outside of myself of people who have, been able to triple their income just off the things that they're doing already by just making it available to more people in a very easy package system. So
Wow.
it's definitely something that everyone needs to check out.
And then for everyone that's gotten excited about the 30-minute a week workout, and then learning what you can and cannot eat, or should and should not eat, do you have a link or a website? And
Yep.
I'll include that too when I upload the recording. But do you have a website or somewhere where somebody can go to?
Yeah, absolutely. They can go to Occam's Fitness. That's OCCAMS fitness.com. That's where you'll find the page to see the webinar that Adam and I did. It goes over everything, including the three biggest mistakes that everyone's making in order to change their body, and they're pretty powerful. Most people, every time I talk to somebody, I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're making this mistake, you're making that mistake," and it's really eye opening. I'm actually willing to offer a way for people to just get in contact with me and get a free consult, so they can see whether this is something that is good for them, or also if they just want to chat and hear about a specific problem that they have, they can also reach out to me on Instagram or on Facebook, or even my personal number if they wanted to.
Do you want? I mean, it's up to you. Do you want to go ahead and put that out there? Because we're
Yeah,
gonna,
absolutely,
like I said, we're
absolutely.
gonna upload this after the fact. So, next couple of days, you might be getting some more calls. So, yeah,
I
give
don't.
out all that information.
Yeah, I don't mind. It'll be great. They can also reach me just text consult, so that way I know who you are, to 207-446-4043. So remember, you're just gonna send text consult to 207-446-4043.
And it was amazing. He will. I thought it was a robot because I'm a marketer, so I thought it was a bot I was talking to. And then it was like,
Uh,
no, this doesn't sound like a bot. This sounds like a real person. So you actually do respond.
oh
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
This is me doing the work, and reaching out to people one on one. I want to make sure this is right for people because in the fitness industry, it's really saturated. So there's a lot of people out there saying you can do this and you can do that, and it's not possible. And I want to be the person out there that's saying, hey, this is what's possible. You're not going to be able to lose 100 pounds in a month. You're not going to be able to fit into your wedding dress in next week, but you are going to be able to change your body, look better, feel better, and you do not have to be in the gym every single day, and you do not have to eat like a rabbit. You can actually eat real food, and it's all possible, and you'll actually feel so much better.
now the closing on this because I had my shirt coffee
Yeah.
closers, but you said there's some things
Oh
that
yeah.
you could drink that may give you the same or similar energy. What are you some suggestions? We're gonna end on a good tip.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Brain health is something that I specialize in. It's actually something that I'll probably put a course out on because a lot of people ask me like, how do you get your brain together? I will say just like the body, it's very individual, but there are a few key nutrients that a lot of people can use that will wake them up. Probably the first thing that they can do is a supplement called Dopa Boost. Dopa Boost and I can put this all in
Okay,
a
yeah,
little
definitely.
email for you.
We're gonna include this in.
Dopa Boost is great because it stimulates dopamine. We all know dopamine to being a pleasure molecule, but actually it's a motivation molecule. So it actually gets you excited to do your work. It's a great thing to do. The other thing that really helps out a lot of people, and this is probably one of my secret weapons, is a supplement called Alpha GPC. Um, Canon really, let's see, alpha glycerophosphocholine, I believe it stands for alpha GPC. Alpha GPC is great for memory, great for recall, and it's great for remembering names and people and really accessing deep parts of your brain. So if you ever are like, what's that person?
Yes.
That's what alpha GPC is for.
Okay.
So I'll use alpha GPC on a regular basis, especially when I'm writing or especially when I'm doing content. It's a great thing to do. Dopa Boost is a great thing for getting up, getting going, but also you can fix your health through your food. So if you do both of them, all of a sudden you'll be accessing your super brain, and it's probably one of the best things ever.
Awesome, awesome. Great tips. Great tips. You this was tremendous. I appreciate it. Like I was saying beforehand, I know we had some hurdles with me setting wrong times and everything, but
It's all
this was
good.
meant to be. This was meant to be. This was well worth it. So, like I said, I'm gonna upload this to the nationwide startup grind chapter worldwide YouTube channel, and then I'll have it on some other things. So, if you can send me those links
Yep.
and any of the contact information, so I can post that, and we'll get all that set up. This is life changing for someone. I know this is so. I can't wait for to hear someone, and which you probably already heard the stories of people saying you changed my life. So I can't wait. I can't wait, and I
The,
appreciate you too.
those are probably the best things ever, both best testimonials ever. When people said I was very close to just giving up,
Wow.
and you kind of just made it easy.
Wow.
I those melt my heart because
Wow.
that's really what it comes down to. As I want more people to feel better and kind of eliminate the crap that's going on in the fitness industry around, eat this food, eat this way, work out this hard. We're already stressed. We're
Yes.
already feeling the economy. We're already feeling how hard things are. We
Yes.
don't need to add any more stress to our bodies, to our life, by working out any harder or eating food that we don't want to eat. So
Definitely.
that's
Definitely.
really what I'm about.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you
Thank
again.
you.
All
Ah,
right.
thank you.
And
This
every,
has been a blast.
and everyone share this once. If you're seeing this on the replay, share this with anybody because this is made for anybody. It don't matter if you're an entrepreneur or an employee, or this is health and wealth. And this is something right now that we need to share. So thank you again, Elia. And thank you guys for joining us. And we'll see you again at another startup grind. Charlotte, take care now.
Thank you.